Alright, now hello and welcome to the beautiful Hallstatt in Austria. Can't believe I've got this whole place to myself. But anyway, come along and explore it with me. It's absolutely stunning. Let's go. So today's adventure begins from the beautiful city of Salzburg. With an agonising 4:30 wake up, I drag myself out of bed and head off to Salzburg train station. I spot my train at 5:11 and head towards platform 2. And now that I've woken up a bit, I start to look forward to what's in store today. Oh god, the things I do to avoid tourists here. You can see there, it's 4:58 AM, nice early start. This train, as my train leaves in 11 minutes past 5, it cost me about €25 for the train there and back to Hallstatt and back to Salzburg. So not too bad actually, but yeah, let's get on the train, can't wait. So the journey is typically around 2 hours 30 minutes with one changeover onto a second train. Inside, the carriages were actually really nice, modern and comfy, which made for a pleasant journey, with good free Wi-Fi, plug sockets and even a quiet zone. On the train, I was a little nervous, not knowing whether the famous Hallstatt was going to live up to expectation, and whether the 3-hour sleep would help me enjoy the UNESCO World Heritage Site away from masses of tourists. And after 50 minutes on the first train, I change over and board the next one, which lasts around 1 hour 30. Shortly, the train makes its way past small, cute and colourful villages nestled in between somewhat angular hills. The scenery progressively captures my attention as the sun greets the early hours of the morning. Mountains finally appear, and after what seems no time at all, I arrive at the Hallstatt Lake, upon which the iconic Lakeside town awaits me. Alright, finally we have arrived at Hallstatt train station just here. For now anyway, from the train station you've got to get a boat across the lake. It only costs a few euros, but make sure you do have cash. I think it's €3 there, €3 back, but I'll let you know down there when I know. And this view, wow. Getting onto the boat, I get my first proper glimpse of Hallstatt in the distance, hanging below towering mountains sprinkled with snow. And on the boat, I'm joined by only one other, and I can't help but get giddy, realising that my wish of enjoying Hallstatt in solitude may just come true. Stepping foot onto land, I feel as though I'm the only person here. The stillness feels almost sacred, as though time has slowed down just for me in this very moment. The outskirts of the village hang gracefully onto the cliff, and fairy tale-like colours enchant the streets down below. I then accidentally stumble into the main square, and can't believe I have the whole place for myself, except for the occasional local wandering. The idyllic square has so much life and feels so vibrant and modern, yet that it belongs to a forgotten mythical world at the same time. It's incredibly cute and pretty, but I have another great idea before masses of tourists start arriving. Right, now I think I'm going to leave it to explore the town in a little bit. You know, it might get a little bit busier, but I want to see. I think there's a main viewpoint over this way somewhere, which I'm hoping can get some amazing views again before it gets too busy and get my helicopter out. To be honest, I have absolutely no idea where I am going, relying solely on intuition to guide me to the perfect viewpoint, from which you often see all the iconic photos of Hallstatt. Meanwhile, the morning sun kindly greets me, lighting up the village too with a warm and radiant glow. And after just a few minutes, I find the fairy tale-like spot, which you might only expect to find in a storybook. Right, now I think I found the spot. It's literally just a few minutes walk along from the centre, but I was a bit worried that it wouldn't quite be the fairy tale that it is in the photos, but take a look at that, man. It's absolutely incredible. Anyway, let me get me out of the way and I'll show you it properly. honestly think I could just go home now and be happy. I could just end this trip and I would be satisfied. And the sun has just risen in the perfect spot so that it's lighting it all up golden. I was a bit worried that the sun wouldn't be in the right place and all that sort of stuff, but I think it's worth it just to see this. This view itself is insane with the snowy top mountains. I'm sure this is enough to make you want to come and visit yourself. But yeah, like I said, get the first train, the first ferry. There was one ferry before mine. I think there was two of us. That other woman there, she was also the only other person on the ferry. So, but anyway, I think it's time to get the helicopter out, like I said, while it's still quiet. So yeah, cue some drone shots.
Next on the list is the incredible Skywalk viewpoint. To be honest, I have no clue how to get there, so I just head in the general direction, up. It's no real surprise that I'm still the only one around, and get to enjoy beautiful waterfalls such as this one in solitude. I then find a sign pointing towards the salt mine, and assumingly the Skywalk too. But the path is blocked off, and signs dramatically warn me of risk of death. Thankfully, I just so happened to completely miss the sign, and carried on anyway, up a twisting path which winds its way up the mountainside. It seemed no danger at all until my first encounter with a fallen tree. Though there is a cable car going up and down, I saved myself €20 and also stumbled across this really cool entrance to an old abandoned mine. Written above it are the words Franz Joseph, the Emperor of Austria at the time the mine was built in 1856. Wishing I could just go inside and take a look, I carry on the ascent, passing a house with the most incredible view, and once I'm almost at the top, I'm glad I decided to walk up the path despite the warnings of danger. Then finally, I make it up to the top after about half an hour walking.
Cable car. This certainly wouldn't be a bad place to have a meal with a view, would it? There's the viewpoint right here. Cue the views. Well, just like that, everybody buggers off and I've got the whole place to myself again. There you can see the landscape. Really is incredible. Unfortunately, the sun's just sort of in the wrong spot a little bit. I think the best view is over that way, but the sun's sort of hiding behind it, which means I can't really show you how lovely it is, really. It's also incredible over that way. Really is stunning. And I also think it's either a salt mine or an ice mine, but it's the world's largest. So I may go and see that. Obviously that costs extra, but this viewpoint was free since I got the, since I walked instead of getting the cable car up. So it's up to you really, whichever one you fancy.
It was nice to momentarily slow down after such a busy few days of travelling and exploring the city of Salzburg. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite sure I had the time to explore the world's oldest salt mine, but had I knew it was only a 10-minute walk from where I was sat, I probably would have. Anyway, I'll leave a link in my video description where you can buy your entry ticket if you want to visit for yourself. Guided tours only last around 90 minutes and the reviews of the experience are really positive. Anyway, I start heading back down, unknowingly looking on towards the Salzwelten or salt mine in the distance.
Anyway, just while I'm walking down, I just wanted to quickly say, obviously it probably is the cheapest to do a day trip to Hallstatt like I done, you know, where you get the train there and back for about 20 odd quid. It's really not bad, but you can do a tour from Salzburg for about maybe 60, 70, 80 pounds, something like that. But if you do want to stay somewhere, it's really expensive to stay in Hallstatt, as you can imagine. You're probably looking at 150, 200 pound a night possibly. But perhaps some of these places along the lake might be quite a bit cheaper. There's also a place further up, I'll insert the name there, so it may be worth trying to stay there. I probably would have done, but I didn't realise how easy it is. You can just get the train along. Obviously the stops are there, so you could get the train from there, which is the final stop, or from one of the earlier stops, which is up there, and then, you know, get the train along and then get the boat in if you did want to stay around here. And then it's easier to get here in the morning and the evening, so you can avoid all the crowds. But anyway, we're going to head down. Hopefully it's not too busy, and have a proper explore of Hallstatt.
Finally descending down the 350 metres or so, this staircase takes me alongside pastel coloured homes nestled snugly against the rocky slopes. Getting down onto level ground, I wander around the still surprisingly quiet town as Monday morning reaches its later hours. I really fell in love with the mixture of bright colours and partially wooden exterior you can see on most of the buildings. I wandered through the main square once more, which was still surprisingly quiet, and headed south following the lake, getting views up onto the lovely waterfall from earlier. Strolling past the town hall and then some sort of history museum, I make my way past a couple of souvenir shops to a magnificent view around the corner. Wonderful white swans drift in the clear crystal waters in the foreground of a fantasy-like backdrop. And just past the swans is a salt shop selling all sorts of salty things, and a lovely promenade leading along the lake with small independent shops, cafes and restaurants where you could sit and watch the world go by, or little fishies swim if that's your thing. At the other end are homes I could only dream of living in, and past those I stumble across the cable car you can use to get to the Skywalk and the Salt Mine. And just before I round off the video, I'd also recommend you take a little trip up to the graveyard, which of course has some lovely views too, but because it's so small, there is also an ossuary you can go inside which has lots of decorated skulls of people from the village.
Alright, I think it's time for a little sit down because I am absolutely exhausted. Apparently being on the go all the time and only getting a few hours sleep, it takes its toll. But yeah, so I think I'm going to pretty much wrap it up there, but I just wanted to say I did arrive by the train and getting the little ferry across. But you can also get here by car and on the coach, so if you do like guided tours. So also in my description and in the comments I'll leave some links if you do want to book a guided tour or something like that from Salzburg, and a few other things you can do in Hallstatt, so check those out in the description. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. It has been a little bit brief, but hopefully I've given you enough of an idea of how absolutely incredible this place is. As you can see, the sun's still shining, it's beautiful. I've just done a Salzburg video, so that'll be out. I'll link that there or at the end. And also I'm going to Vienna for a few days, so I'll have a video of that as well. So leave a comment if you enjoyed this video, click subscribe if you want to see more, and thank you for joining me. See you later.